guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new IDontWorkHereLady content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled That Day at the Homicide Scene. In the 1990s, I was a TV news stringer, a freelance news cameraman in San Francisco. I would listen to the police scanners mounted in my car and rush to the scene of breaking news stories, where I would get my video camera out, record news footage, and sell it to the local TV stations. One night I heard the police get called to a homicide scene. I scooted over there, parked, and got my camera out of my trunk just as a couple of homicide detectives pulled up. I should explain that my camera was a mid-sized industrial model, not one of those huge multi-thousand-dollar broadcast models that only the TV stations could afford. The detectives spotted me holding my gear and motioned me over to the house where the murder had taken place and held the door open for me to enter. I'm flabbergasted. This has never happened to me before. Usually when the cops see me show up, they start throwing up police line tape to keep me and my camera as far back as they can. This is a very unexpected welcome, but hey, I'll take it. I walk in, shoot a wide, establishing shot, get a couple of medium shots, and about then in walks another cameraman with a camera about the same size as mine. Only he is wearing a SFPD badge on his belt. Everyone looks at him, and then they all turn and look at me. Someone finally breaks the silence by asking me, "Who are you?" I respond, "TV news." The officers who had held the door open for me blanch and give each other a no-crap look, as they realize their mistake. "Ah, you shouldn't be in here," he says. I say no problem and I leave. Just to be clear, I did not include the footage that I managed to shoot inside the crime scene in the package I sold to the TV stations. If I had, I am sure that several hard-working police officers would have gotten into trouble. No need for that to happen. I suspect the decision on my part was appreciated, as I ran into the same cops at other scenes in the following years, and they always treated me both friendly and fairly. In fact, I got a call or three over the years suggesting that I and my camera might want to be at a particular place at a particular date and time, almost always resulting in me getting exclusive footage of this or that major bust. The next story is titled The Wedding Bartender. Friends of mine were getting married. The wedding was in the bride's hometown, several hundred miles from where we all lived. So I went there with a couple of mutual friends. We're at the wedding, held outdoors at the bride's sister's house, a very lovely, huge place. There are about 350 guests and a full bar set up, but no bartender. So I jump behind the bar and start making drinks. I'm in a black suit / black shirt / black tie, so I guess I looked the part. Almost no one there knew me, as they were mostly the bride's family and people she grew up with. People start telling me their problems and doing the usual bartender thing, and offer tips. I put out an empty plastic pitcher for tips. I'm making drinks for over 2 hours and collected about $450 in tips. It made a nice wedding gift for the couple. The next story is titled No, This Is Your Job. I'm a high school student, 17. I attend a school where the teachers aren't very strict and often leave the classroom to go smoke a cig or something. I wear glasses, so the teachers often think I'm smart, even though I'm not. Our third period just started. We went into the classroom. I don't know how schools abroad are, but we go from room to room every period, take our seats, and while everyone is pulling out their books, the teacher goes, "I'm going to leave the classroom, probably for the whole period. You." She pointed at me, "You are in charge now. Teach them something." Me, who wasn't paying attention to what she said, "Huh, teacher. Don't hum me. You know what I just told you. Do your job." She leaves the room, leaving all of us confused. The ones who were actually listening to what she said explained the situation to me, so I thought I might as well explain the last topic to them, since I remembered it pretty well, and because the exams are coming up and nobody has a single clue what the topic is about. So I proceed to teach the class instead of my teacher, with everybody thanking me because they finally understand the topic. Towards the end of the period, the teacher cones back, sees the whiteboard and goes, "What are you doing? You were supposed to teach them this." She pulls out a paper with the topic she was supposed to teach us. "You've had one job and you couldn't even do that right." I'm a rather calm person, but here I just lost my temper and began to raise my voice. My job? I'm not a teacher. I'm supposed to be sitting there, in the seat where my stuff is and learning from you." She realized what she just said and was just staring blankly at her papers while the rest of us left the room because the period ended. The next story is entitled Mom Demands I'd Give Her My Driveway. This just happened. I was having a great morning with my wife and kids when my neighbor texted me. We have never spoken in the 6-7 years that we have lived here, and she has always given me and my family dirty looks. This never bothered me, but it always bothered my wife. We never knew why she did this, but today we found out. Side note, her husband seems like a decent guy who just acts like he is defeated by his wife. The few times that I have spoken to him, the conversation has always gotten cut short because his wife needed him for something. My house has a very long driveway. The driveway leads up a hill to my house at the top. The bottom quarter of the driveway is shared by my 2 neighbors. They have to drive up it to get into their garages. My side yard overlooks one neighbor's backyard, while my backyard overlooks the other's backyard. My pool is in my backyard. I'm posting the text conversation that just took place. Basically, she wants me to give her my driveway so she can build an in-ground pool for her kids. Her kids are a nightmare, and she has never controlled them. She just lets them run around and do whatever they want all day. I still don't fully understand why she needs the rights to my driveway to do that, but she did not like being told no. If I'm being honest, I did get angry and a little immature during the conversation, but I felt it was warranted for the situation. She thought that threatening and making racist comments about my kids would be the best way to get me to do what she wants. My kids are half Korean, half European. The next story is titled I Should Leave My Apron On More Often. A little backstory. I volunteer with a group that serves up to 40 people who are aged 60 and over for lunch one day a week. It's good for them to get together, and sometimes it's the only time people get out of their houses in the week. The only uniform we have are these aprons with the group name embroidered on them. Anyway, I'd forgotten that I was wearing my apron after we'd finished the washing up, and I popped into the local convenience shop for coffee because they had a deal on filter coffee. I was browsing the options when I felt a soft tap on my back. I turned around and there was a little girl stood behind me. She smiled and asked very politely where the strawberries were. I showed her, and she picked out her strawberries and ran back to her mom. Her mom later came up to me in the queue and told me that she was sorry her little girl disturbed me whilst I was shopping because she thought I worked there because of my apron. I told her it was no trouble. She then asked about my apron, and after telling her about the group, she asked me if she can come and help out. I gave her the details, and hopefully I'll see her next week. The next story is titled I'm Actually Here to Attend Your Party, Not Cater It. Orchid, this happened to me years ago when I was still in HS. It's not a fabulous story, but still gives me a chuckle what a beard can do to your apparent age. During this time, I was still in touch with an old friend who had moved to a different school. I was conveniently able to see him sometimes through a distance learning class along with his new friends. One of his new friends was kind enough to invite me to their birthday party. It was a very fancy one, so we were asked to wear formal clothing. I obliged because being a chubster and all, layers made me look less fat. So I decked myself out to look super professional. Groomed my beard and had the nice M-lady vibe going. I was untouchable. I got to the address, and boy howdy, was the place they rented fancy. I was rather early, so I placed my stuff in the corner. The hosts and I chatted for a bit while we waited for everyone else to come. It wasn't long, and eventually a cluster of people came in, caterers, other teens, a DJ. I started to blend in, chat with others, and get friendly. The party was very nice. I decided to sit by a bunch of ladies I never met while we ate. We talked about dildos, a bunch about dumb political stuff and acting. I got up and started asking people what they wanted and started just handing out drinks. Just trying to be friendly. I kept getting weird looks from the kids' parents. No clue why. Party keeps going. I play pool, eat, dance to some Take On Me by a-ha. I lose my voice from screaming. You know how parties go. This keeps on while I still notice the parents overlooking me constantly. I started to ease down cause I was getting uncomfortable. Finally, the end of the party arrives, and there's a bit where the family had a projector with all these family photos of them in it. It was time to take it out and show everyone how gushy and cute the family was or something. One of the hosts, the mother, comes up to me and said, "Could you at least grab the projector for us?" And I got very confused. I asked her what she was talking about, and she rants on, "You have barely done anything all night. You could at least grab and set up our projector." And it finally connects. This chick thinks I've been ducking around all night instead of catering the party. I just laughed and said I'm sorry, but I'm here to attend your daughter's party. What do you think I was here for? She gets beet red. At this point, everyone else is looking and realized what's going on too. The daughter had to come over and explain that I was a guest. I quickly went to use the restroom to get out of that interaction. Caused up that. I wasn't bothered for the 30 minutes that were left of the party though, plus I got a girls member so bonus. The next story is titled I'm looking at the nutrition facts, not stocking the shelves. So a bit of background about me. I'm a bodybuilder / powerlifter and nutrition is very important to what I do. Whenever I go shopping, I like to check the nutrition labels on ingredients in foods I'm interested in. That way I can eat enough food to not be hungry, without sacrificing flavor and still fitting it into my daily calorie intake. As you can imagine, I will check multiple different versions of the same ingredients in an aisle and put them back as I search for the best option. Well, earlier today, I went on a pretty big restock for the house. I also found a bunch of new recipes that I want to try, some of which called for some ingredients I don't work with often. For the most part, the store wasn't too busy, and nobody really bothered me as I walked up and down each aisle. I also had some earbuds in and my phone out, with my shopping list on it. Keep in mind, also that I'm wearing a tank top and sweatpants, which you're probably not going to get away with wearing as a grocery store employee. As I'm looking through spices in the baking aisle, I hear someone yelling over my music. It was kind of surprising since I listened to it pretty loud. So I took an earbud out and looked around, and this lady just said to me, "Can't even believe they let employees wear those stupid things." I cut her off and said I wouldn't know, because I don't work here. This seemed to upset her greatly, as she got really aggressive when she responded by saying dumb ducking lie to me. "I've seen you stocking the shelves. I'm a paying customer, and you need to help me right now. I'm a very easygoing guy, but when a random stranger speaks to me like this, I'm not going to put up with it. So I said I don't have to do crap, especially if you talk to me like that." It lost. She lost something, that's for sure. She yelled, "Excuse me, how the duck dare you?" I just turned to walk away at that point. All of a sudden she grabs the back of my tank top, and I yank myself away, saying, "What the duck, lady? Don't touch me." She takes a couple steps back, probably realizing that I am not the kind of person you want to pick a fight with. "Fine then, I'm finding a manager. Say goodbye to your job, you lazy, useless piece of crap." I was already putting my earbud back in, so I just said, "Whatever, lady, bye." I grabbed my spices as she walked off in a huff and continued my shopping. I wasn't even wearing what employees at this store wear, like how could I possibly be mistaken for an employee? I seriously cannot stress enough how much I don't look like I work there. A couple minutes later, I'm in the next aisle over and I see her again with a manager. I don't hear what she's saying because I've got my music on, but with the way she was pointing her finger, I'd imagine she was probably saying that I'm the one who didn't help her. They started walking up, and I took both earbuds out this time. Manager approaches me and I hear the lady saying he should be fired for cussing at me and threatening me. Manager is like, "Yeah, he doesn't work here. He's wearing a tank top, that's definitely against dress code, well, anywhere." She didn't like that answer. "Then why is he stocking your shelves?" I chime in and say I'm comparing calories in foods and picking the best ones to stay healthy. "Maybe you should try it sometime. You definitely look like you need it." She stands there for a moment with this expression on her face that looked like her brain didn't process what I just said. Then she got surprisingly calm. It was getting kind of pathetic at that point, at least I thought so, but the manager actually seemed to side with her and said, "Still, I can't have anyone assaulting people in my store." Whoa, what? I must have missed the part where she said I assaulted her, so I ask him to repeat himself, and he explains that it is a criminal offense to assault someone, and that the police could get involved. Lady goes from pissed off to real smug, like I'm about to get it. "Good," I said, "call them down here, I'll wait. I know this store has security cameras on every aisle, and I'm so sick of people like her getting away with this level of entitlement that I really did wait." Police show up a few more minutes later. We go to a back office in the store, and they're really grilling me, asking me why I would attack someone, if I was on any drugs, etc. I'm kinda used to this treatment. People take one look at me and just assume I'm some meathead bodybuilder with roid rage. I answer all their questions by saying, "Look at the security footage, it'll answer all your questions." The more I said it, the more frustrated they got. Finally, they leave the room. I just wait there patiently for about 4 to 5 minutes, then they come back and apologize. "The manager told us you assaulted her. We should have checked the footage, but you do fit the profile." I then say why, because I have bigger muscles than most people. Is that a crime? They know they can't really say or do much about it, since they made some pretty big assumptions. If you'd like, you can press charges against her since she did grab you according to the security footage. And you know what? I said that I would like to press charges. Normally, I don't like to waste my time dealing with courts, but hours of my day were already wasted today, and I want her to know that she can't get away with it. A few minutes later, the manager offers to let me just go home with my groceries for free, probably a bit scared that I might sue the store for discrimination or something, since I was so ready to press charges on the lady. On my way out, I saw them putting her into the back of a police car, and she was screaming profanities at the officers. I've already talked to an attorney, who is in the process of obtaining the security footage. Court date is going to be in March, but should be pretty straightforward since the evidence is in my favor. I've never actually had to press charges like this before, so I have no idea what to expect. All I know is that even if she only ends up getting fined $1 or has to do even a minute of community service, I'll have a smile on my face. Anyway, this has been my crazy day. I know there are similar stories here of crazy Karens and stuff, and I always thought they were entertaining and would sometimes even think about what I'd do in a similar situation. My reaction certainly wasn't what I thought it would be though, and it wasn't as entertaining being on the receiving end of the story. At least I got some free groceries out of it though. The next story is titled Not Only Do I Not Work Here, but neither does anyone else. A bit of background: my house used to be the village post office, and when I say used to be, I mean over 20 years ago. We bought the property 10 years ago, by which time it had been totally converted, and no longer resembles a post office in any shape or form. The post office is now slightly further down the street, in a building that has a huge post office sign on the front, and looks nothing like my house, different size, color, everything. My front door opens straight into the kitchen and is rarely locked. It's a small village, and I seem to run some sort of drop-in center for my kids' friends. I was sitting eating dinner this evening with my kids when the front door opened, and in walked a lady. Me, hey, can I help you with something? As I walked towards her, forcing her backwards through the open door. L, yes, I have a parcel here to send, as she tries to duck round the side of me to get in. Me, pardon, you've got a parcel. L, yes, it's to be delivered tomorrow. Me, well, you'd be best taking it to the post office, then, as I almost physically push her out of the door onto the street. L, well, obviously, that's why I'm here. At which point the light bulb in my head switches on. Me, I'm sorry, this isn't the post office anymore. Hasn't been for a long time. The post office is a few doors down that way. L, yes, very funny. Now, could you actually do what you're being paid for and allow me to send my parcel? Me, yes, if you go to the post office, which is just down there pointing, I'm sure they'll send your parcel for you. Now, I'm going to return to my children to finish eating my dinner. And I walked inside, closed, and locked the door, while listening to her having a strop outside. By all accounts, she found the post office, sent her parcel, and lodged a formal complaint against me, which gave the post office staff some entertainment for the afternoon. I'm really unsure as to what she was thinking. She's not from the village, as I say, it's a small village, and she walked into what is obviously a house, with a family sitting at the table eating when she walked in. Did she think I'd hidden the post office counter behind the fridge or something? My husband keeps wandering into the kitchen, asking me for stamps or envelopes, or various other post office type things. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.